Now we're on part 4 of information that needs to be common knowledge. There is no ideal diet. The fitness industry is lying to you. When I use the word diet, I'm literally not referring to a diet. I'm just referring to the total consumption of an individual. Everything that is consumed is the diet. I'll go into media consumption at a different point. This is not the place. Did you know that when a woman is pregnant, she actually grows new intestine and passes it through the umbilical cord to the child, to the embryo? This means that the intestine that we develop grows, the intestine that grows inside us develops from our maternal line. With this information, we can extrapolate your ideal diet. I'll give you some examples. So my mom's line is from high altitude continental Russia. So my hemoglobin, and this is confirmed, is much higher than most people, which is an adaptation for the lower oxygen of high altitude. So I need more iron to bind to all of my hemoglobin than somebody else my size and build. High altitude also means that winters are really scarce, so my ancestors relied on animals to survive. So my body generally digests higher daily protein and fat well. On the other hand, I don't digest beans well because beans don't grow in the mountains. Someone with ancestry from a Mediterranean climate does best on, seafood and plant food. Someone from a tropical can easily transition to a raw diet. There is no one size fits all in nutrition. So please don't listen to anyone that's saying like, oh, this is the right way to eat. Intuitive nutrition is a real thing. And professional nutritionists can offer specific advice to achieve certain goals. So things like increasing energy, growing muscle, burning fat, building strength. They can pinpoint nutrients and supplements that can make a really, really vast difference to an already good practice. Foundation is the whole theme of this chapter, is it not? Dietary changes have a bigger impact on our physical shape than physical activity. You cannot work out a bad diet. With that being said, I don't like using the term bad diet because I'm really big on intuitive nutrition. So intuitive nutrition is really interesting because it is fairly new. Research into the gut flora is quite recent, but basically there are billions of bacteria that live in our digestive tract that serve a variety of functions. They mainly function to break down food and absorb nutrients, but they also participate in the signaling network and they affect the immune system. And the things that we refer to as cravings are actually signals from our bacteria. Nutrition is our body's source of everything. So when our body needs a particular nutrient, for example, magnesium, this is just a comfortable example, our body will start to crave something that it remembers has magnesium. So for example, a chocolate bar. But grapes have a really high concentration of magnesium too. So what makes that decision? Why did our body pick the chocolate bar to crave and not grapes? So there's different families of bacteria that are specific to what they help digest. What we're eating defines which bacteria families are prevalent in our gut, like how much percent is for this and how much percent is for that. If our bacteria distribution is heavily skewed towards the bacteria that's responsible for simple carbs, that's the filter through which any craving is going to come through. So a magnesium craving through a simple carb bacteria will come out through the chocolate bar. So the trick is giving our bacteria a variety of sources. They should remember all of these fruits and vegetables because then when there are cravings, they remember nutrient dense and fibrous sources of vitamins and minerals, not just like, oh, this particular nutrient. Learning to listen to our body's needs by giving it a diverse memory is the baseline of intuitive nutrition, and it takes a long time. Time for another simple change. Diversify. Variety is better than vitamins. Bacteria diversity is positively linked to metabolism, energy, mood, memory, and tons of studies. Go Google it. Try new things. Try weird fruit. Even if you're worried, you can't go wrong. It's fruit. It's going to be sweet. There's also so many grains that you can try. There's amaranth, barley, buckwheat, farro, millet. There's nuts and seeds, which are really important for your heart and your brain, packed with rare nutrients and minerals and healthy fats. Mushrooms are ancient, and I will probably do a whole series on the magic of mushrooms one day, but not in here. Oh, quinoa, tofu, brown rice, chickpeas, chia seeds, and pumpkin seeds are all complete proteins on top of all of their other nutrients. Peas, lentils, and beans, you have to study your recombination for the amino acids because no. And buying alternative proteins and just replacing meat consumption. And it takes profit away from industrial farms. And I know we're all aware that grocery store animals are raised in just horrific conditions. And if you aren't, I don't know how you managed to get this far through my course without knowing that, but it's awful. It's horrific. But those animals, their tissues are flooded with adrenaline, cortisol, norepinephrine, which are stress hormones. And not only that, they're stress hormones that our bodies know how to use. They know how to process them and where they're supposed to go, and they have a pathway that triggers reactions. So this is why people that go vegetarian or vegan tend to have this feeling of clarity because they're no longer consuming the stress hormones that are in animals. My recommendation, personally, is to find happy meat. If you can't give it up, then just change to stuff that's happy. Puts your dollar into the power or into the right kind of industries. Or the Canada Organic brand is pretty good. You can go and look up the all of the standards on the government website. Just Google. So happy butter and eggs and stuff like that, like staple items, are nearly double the price. But then the difference in flavor and the way that you feel about the food is massive. By becoming mindful of the products that we eat, we can actually change our entire relationship with animal products. Developing a deep sense of awareness and gratitude for both the animal and the effort involved in raising the animal and in preparing the meat is key to developing bodily nutrition. Conscious omnivory is the most sustainable and the most respectful. And whatever feels good to you is correct. You don't have to, if going vegan feels correct to you, then it's correct. If being a conscious omnivore is correct, it's correct. But we can't be forcing one or the other. The only thing I believe that we can enforce on each other is tolerance and acceptance and respect and honor. Like every section of this guide, shifting our relationship with food is an endless process. We're unraveling years of media pushing thinness as health, the romanticization of restrictive diets, treating our hunger like it's something to argue with. It takes years to unravel this. Develop curiosity for nutrient-dense foods. But remember, foods aren't really good or bad. Just don't be afraid of eating. Trust your body. It has an ancient wisdom far older than our conscious mind.